Hello class, in this video we're going to expand on some of the topics that you covered in your reading as well as in the video that you have seen previously. We're going to start with the market for dollars as a supply and demand model. And we're going to go over some of the things that you see here on this graph. Let's start with the labels. Notice that this is the market for dollars. So we are buying and selling dollars. Whenever you're buying and selling dollars, you have to pair it up with another currency. In this case, it's going to be the yen, which is the Japanese currency. So remember, in a foreign exchange market, you're always pairing up two currencies. The x-axis is labeled quantity of dollars. This is reflected in the title for the graph, which is market for dollars. Remember that we are exchanging yen for dollars. At the end of the day, what we're going to receive is dollars. So this is why the x-axis is labeled as it is. Let's move on to the slightly more complicated axis, which is the y-axis. Here, you'll see yen per dollar. Notice that this is the market for dollars. Therefore, when you're labeling the y-axis, it's always going to be the second part of that phrase, yen per dollar. You might also see it as follows. This kind of looks like a fraction. This is just to signify the per. That division sign is per. Notice that the US dollar is still in the bottom. Let's take a look at the equilibrium. The equilibrium, just like any supply and demand curve, is at the intersection of supply and demand. In this market right now, for simplicity, we have drawn a supply and demand curve that intersect at 100 yen per dollar. Let's forget about the quantity of dollars for now, and let's just focus on the 100 yen. What this means is that if you want to receive $1, you must have 100 yen to exchange. If I have the need to receive 50 US dollars, how many yen would it take for me to receive that amount of dollars? Let's think about it. Every dollar requires an exchange of 100 yen. So, if I want to know how much $50 is in terms of yen, all I would need to do is multiply $50 times 100. Therefore, I would require 5,000 yen in order to get $50. Let's practice a little bit more with this concept. Let's look up some current exchange rates and see if we can calculate how much money we would get from an exchange. Currently, 1 Mexican peso equals 5 cents American. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. Here you have a calculator that Google offers, in which you can estimate how many dollars you will receive for any amount of pesos. So let's play around with it just a little bit. let's say you have 500 pesos. That means that in terms of dollars, that's going to equal out to $25.21 with this exchange rate. Let's play with it backwards. Let's say that you require $300. How many pesos do you have to exchange to get this amount of dollars? Well, let's type it in. $300 would require you to have 5,949 pesos with 81 cents. Let's take the numbers that we have here and see if we can get to the same number that the calculator gets to. So how can I put these two numbers together and get the $25 roughly that the calculator got? Well, it's easy. I can just take this number and multiply it times the exchange rate. Let's do this. Notice that this is not exactly the number that we got from Google. Let's take a look. The exact number we got from Google was 25.21 United States dollars. There's probably more decimal places that they're not including in this for simplicity, but we got pretty close to it. Let's try that second calculation where I needed $300. That number was 5,949 pesos with 81 cents Mexican pesos, right? So let's do a calculation by hand. Again, I'm going backwards. I need $300 American. The exchange rate is 1 peso equals 5 cents American. So how can I get these two numbers together to get that 5,900 and change that Google gave me? Well, it's simple. Remember that we're going backwards. So I take my $300 American and I multiply it times the inverse of 5 cents American, which is basically saying that I'm gonna make this little fraction here. That's the inverse. If you go ahead and multiply it in your calculator, or just simply divide 300 by 5 cents, you'll get 6,000 pesos. Notice again that we're not getting the exact amount that the Google calculator is giving us. Again, this is because this exchange rate that shows on the page is not exact. It's rounded off. So whenever you round off numbers, you get slight differences in results. But it's pretty close. 5,949 and we got 6,000. Basically, this is how you do your calculations by hand to figure out exchange rates.